Oh, here's a new one they've been hiding from us.
So you're not allowed to show people on here how white Charlie's shoes were.
Rock has been purposely dialed down in the culture.
Like, there are no movie stars anymore. Like, Anthony Mackie isn't a movie star. The Falcon is a movie star.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there is having a good day, y'all. Make sure you guys watch from start to finish. That really helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's get into it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
According to new videos that have come out of China and from Al Jazeera, the CIA headquarters in Dubai was slammed into by missiles, and the footage has been suppressed in the United States.
Why don't they tell us these things, man?
The Israeli Military General Council building has been struck, and there are no reports out of the I country either. I'm former MLB agent Joshua Kuznick, and I had to run out and live my life for 30 seconds while these things are all going on. And it is insane to me the level of suppression that the footage in the United States from the Iranian war is seemingly dealing with. It is a level of censorship that we really have not dealt with in the United States of America as a regime that we've been aware of for years. This is something worse than the Bush administration. Like, how come this is coming out of China and Al Jazeera and not NBC? This is profoundly un-American. Bomb.
So a bar in Austin, Texas, around 2 a.m. on March 1st was shot up by an alleged terrorist. They said this person drove around the block numerous times. I guess he was just scaling out the place. And then eventually he came to a stop where he let off shots out the window with a pistol. Then they said after that, he hopped out the car with a rifle and continued to fire on the people at the bar. So they said the outcome of him doing all this resulted in 3 people being unalive, 14 people is injured, and 3 in critical condition. I need y'all to fill in the blank real quick. Sleeper, because they say this man was wearing a shirt that said property of Allah. And they said when they checked his SUV, he had the Quran on the dashboard. This is allegedly the person that shot up the bar in Austin, Texas. Him right here. I don't know the man's name, I don't know nothing, but when I find out, I'll let y'all know. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this situation, but y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below in the comments.
Is gonna blow your mind. This is the CEO of Roblox on stage. This is him pitching the idea of turning Roblox into a dating platform that minors can access. 18 plus experiences, thousands of adults will meet for the first time in Roblox dating experiences and subsequently form real life relationships. That's their priorities right now.
It did say you had to verify your birthday. What does that mean?
Get a photo of your face, turn left and right, and then boom, it gives you an age that it thinks you are.
So anybody that's a parent, you just have your kid do it?
Yeah, you can just buy one of these accounts with any age you want on it.
Where do you buy that?
You can buy it on eBay.
eBay? Yeah. Does that say 13 to 15?
13 to 15-year-old, and what this means is you can only talk to 13 and 15 years old. Online, they're joking calling this the Predator Buffet update because it allows predators to select what age group they want to communicate with.
It's like this thing is made for them.
About that massive human trafficking sting that led to more than 170 arrests in Scottsdale.
Police say the 3-week operation helped them rescue many trafficking victims or survivors, including one child. Stephen Sarabia is here in the studio to explain what happens from here, Stephen.
Yeah, well, the big goal right now is helping those victims like that child that you mentioned, and they're trying to help them get the resources they need, like counseling. Now, advocates against human trafficking tell me that it's very important that these traffickers are held accountable, as this is an issue that is very likely happening across the whole valley.
173 arrests in the span of 3 weeks, all related to some form of human trafficking in Scottsdale.
This was a extremely successful endeavor for us.
The arrests range from child sex trafficking, prostitution-related offenses, and luring a minor for sexual exploitation. 40 of the arrests were felony charges. This was done as a sting targeting sex buyers. Lieutenant Peter Michael says they went undercover to catch some of these people.
When we do have detectives that portray themselves as a 13 or 14-year-old persona, we don't actually use juvenile victims. This is all digital. It's through text messaging.
Scottsdale Police does this operation every year. For 2025, they arrested 202 people. The mayor making it clear that traffickers have no place in their city.
If you attempt to prey on the vulnerable here in our city, you will not succeed. And you will be caught.
One, it tells people who are coming to town or our locals, do not buy sex here.
When it comes to stopping any form of trafficking, advocates say it's important people report it when they see it happening.
You can also talk to your family about trafficking, talk to your kids about it, watch who they're talking to
drive
on,
down the
on the
street
phone,
and see
on
it.
gaming
Cops drive
systems.
right by
So
it.
why isn't anybody talking about the fact that today in Dallas, Texas, the FBI and police arrested 244 people in a child trafficking ring? You heard what I just said? In Dallas, Texas, they arrested 244 people that were child predators. And the best part about this whole thing is that they found 109 missing children. So apparently this trafficking ring has been going on for a very, very long time. But the FBI and the police are saying that this is only the beginning. They're about to start cracking down on each and every child predator. Now, of course, we know that media tries to keep these things very hush-hush because there's a lot of people involved in these things that they won't like to mention. But children go missing all over this world, all over the United States. And we need answers. And even though they found 109 children, they need to find 109 more. And after that, find 109 more. And they need to arrest more people for these crimes. And now you gotta ask yourself, if they were able to find 109 kids that were missing and arrest 244 people that had something to do with this, how many more kids are missing? How many more people need to rape? How many more people need to be arrested? Good job, but we need more answers. Pay attention.
There are a shit ton of immigrants in Mexico right now from a very impoverished country. I want you to try and guess which country this is.
It's not someone in South America.
It's the United States.
What?
90% of all new housing in Tijuana, for example, is being bought off by Americans who can't afford to live in San Diego.
Okay, but that's also right on the border.
But there's a bunch of communities elsewhere, like Tulum is ruined by all the Americans living down there.
Yeah, train just went there.
Mexico City has open revolt against all the Americans who are living down there, who are all, if we're honest about it, economic migrants. So yeah, Mexico fosters a shit ton of migrants.
Oh,
so I just wanted to get
shoes
that
on the other foot now.
I just want to get that clear. What I think the U.S. is trying to what I think the U.S. is trying to do long term is that I think the U.S. sees in Mexico the potential that it has to be a economic superpower. I think it has the potential. I think one Mexican worker is equal to 3 or 4 Chinese workers as far as productivity.
This is by far the scariest fucking thing I've seen all week. Tell me why a recent study found a 400% increase in people ages 30 to 40 being diagnosed with dementia specifically linked to excessive screen time. Let me ask you a question. You scroll every day? Have you felt it yet? Have you been forgetting things a little quickly lately? Is it harder to focus on stuff that's not on a screen? Can you even describe to me 3 Instagram reels that you watched yesterday? This is not a game anymore. The effects of this are very real and they are very scary. Your suspicions are correct. Your phone is making you dumber. And there's only one person on earth who's going to be able to save you and stop your cognitive decline. And that person is you. If you need resources to help you quit doom scrolling, I will put them in the caption. But you have to promise me that after you're done watching this video, you will take one actionable step to stop your mind from slipping away from you any further. Because as a human being, your mind, your intelligence is one of your most important assets, and it's being taken away from you right in front of your very own eyes. Don't let it happen.
A lot of these cartel operators are actually American born, American raised, don't even speak Spanish. One of the main guys that we featured in our episode goes by the name of El Gringo. He was born in the United States, doesn't speak a word of Spanish, and he's sort of a wholesale distributor for the cartel. And he realized he could do it. He could distribute the drugs really well. He was really good with logistics. And do you know how he distributes the drugs? They come in 90% of the time as official ports of entry. So it's not going
sneaking through the woods or something, or tying it to like a deer and having them run over the border or whatever.
Right. Or little kids with backpacks. That happens as well. But most of it is official ports of entry. And then once it gets to the big cities and then gets distributed by guys like this, who also operate of small town America, he's using actually commercial planes where he puts the drugs inside suitcases and has people like strippers.
Wow.
And never think that, right? I was thinking trucks or vans full of drugs, or the white vans full of drugs or something. No, it's actually in planes. A lot of times he says he uses Delta as his favorite airline.
Delta is a great airline.
Yeah.
I will say that, but I didn't know. I didn't know the skies were that friendly. You know, I mean, it could get hella friendly if somebody's shipping Molly up there. I feel like.
New Mexico is so important in this kind of a topic is because of the tremendous area of New Mexico. Area-wise, New Mexico is the 5th largest state in the entire United States. But yet, its population is only around 2 million, and it hasn't changed that much, for years. It's even today, it's just about 2 million plus. And the reason is, it's just, I don't know, it's such an expansive state, and that gives the United States military research a tremendous opportunity to do a lot of testing of all kinds of military weapon systems and so on.
So if I ever shave my face again, you'll know.
Lifting.
It's not our world.
None of this is real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
The Israelis don't give a shit about human life, about civilians, and we're going to see a lot of civilian casualties. On the flip side, the Iranians said days ago, even as long as a week ago, that if there were going to be an attack, they would strike U.S. Assets around the Persian Gulf. They have done exactly that. They have hit the U.S. military base in Kuwait. They've hit the center of Manama, Bahrain, the capital of Bahrain. They've hit Abu Dhabi. There was a missile intercepted over Dubai. This is a real war. This isn't going to be just, a back and forth tete-a-tete over the next 24 hours. This is a conflagration.
The president is predicting, or the administration, I should say, is predicting just a few days of conflict. I don't see how that's possible. They're going to fight back hard with everything they've got, and that's inevitably going to cause the United States and Israel to play the victim, even though they started all this. And they're going to say, look at what the dastardly Iranians did. We have to retaliate.
See, what's very annoying is same thing with the war back in 2001, all the way to 2020. Like, they didn't show the American caskets being unloaded off of the planes here in America. They didn't show that, y'all. Same thing with this, supposedly CIA stash house or whatever getting bombed, or these assets over there, U.S. assets getting bombed. They're not telling us that. So, the regular people, even me, like, pretty much is thinking like, we're untouchable. We're not being touched. We're just doing all the bombing. We're doing all the, like, especially the people that are just watching mainstream media think we're just bombing, and they're just taking it. They're not retaliating at all. They're just taking it because we're big, bad America and big, bad Israel. And they don't want nothing to do with us. And Trump comes out and says, if you guys retaliate, there will be serious consequences. So they're like, okay, we're not going to retaliate. But little do the people know, they're bombing CIA. They're bombing bases out there. They're bombing warships. They're shooting down planes. And there's pilots out there with their hands up, getting on their knees saying, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, they're not showing, they need to show the people these things, because people are going to have a different outlook for this and people are going to be pissed off, but they're not going to do that. You know why? Because they want their votes, y'all. That's all they care about. That's all they care about is those votes.
That is insane.
What airport is this?
That looks like a real human being.
That does look real. That's creepy.
Did you know that the reason the Unabomber was caught was because he demanded that news stations publish his manifesto, and his own brother read it after it was published on the New York Times and the Washington Post, and he was like, that's my brother. That sounds like my brother. The Unabomber. As soon as the FBI found this out, they did not rush in to go get him. No, they very carefully surveilled this man at his 10 by 12 foot cabin in Montana for months. This cabin was essentially a Agents were waiting so that he could not destroy any evidence. They actually waited until he was just outside of the doors of his cabin when he was leaving one day to capture him so that he didn't go inside and set off a bomb or unalive himself. Also, when they captured him, inside of the cabin was a fully built bomb ready to be mailed. He mailed bombs from 1978 to 1995. He was Ted Kaczynski, by the way. He killed 3 people and near fatally injured 23 people. He would mail his bombs to people he thought was responsible for modern technology. This was scientists, professors, tech guys. Also, if he had never wanted the attention from what he was doing, he might have never been caught.
When you go to fast food.
See, I'm not saying that what he did was okay, because it wasn't. But like, fast forward to now, like that dude was ahead of his time. Like, look what technology is doing to us now. Look what, dementia. We just saw a clip that these things are causing dementia. We see what AI is doing, wasting all the water. We see what these big power plants are doing to the air, to the pollution. We see what these AI plants are doing to, the people that live in the community, how it's destroying their communities. Like, we see what this technology is doing. And, not saying what he was doing was okay. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, the way, like, we call them crazy, but fast forward, 30, 50 years later, we're like, damn, this technology is terrible for us,
Serving us human meat.
Yeah.
You go to the store and that chicken be falling apart a little weird sometimes when you cut it up. Like, you're like, what is this? It's not what we think it is, the ground meat. For me personally, I quit eating meat.
Yeah, me too.
But the veggies and all that too.
November 2024, I ain't ate it since.
Wow.
All the way back from it.
So what do you eat in as far as protein?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like even when they say protein, I feel like that's programming to make people believe that you have to eat meat.
What do you
Because
eating?
even when people eat cows, they tell you how much protein those cows got to offer. Those cows don't eat nothing but grass. So where they getting their protein from? Where are they amassing all of this protein from? When the same nutrients they tell you need from the animals, it literally comes from the plant. The planet provides everything that you will ever need in life, without you having to lay harm to any of the animals that walk on it.
I like that.
That's from my perspective, though.
I don't like that response. So what are you eating? What are you eating? I would like to know. What do you eat? You just eating fruits and vegetables? You ain't gonna look like that just eating fruits and vegetables. I'm sorry, you're not. You're gonna probably look malnourished. You're getting some type of fat, some type of proteins, I'm guessing. So I would like to know, what are you eating? I would like to see a full day of eating video from you. Talk is cheap. I would like to see it.
When you saw photos of your husband in a hot tub laying on a beach and getting massaged by other women, and you knew that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in some of these trips and these things, did it concern you at all?
I'm here not to offer my opinions. I'm here to answer specific questions to the best of my ability.
When you saw your husband in these photos with a young woman being massaged, what went through your mind?
I am not going to speculate.
You didn't have any feelings about young women massaging your husband?
I am not going to offer opinions or speculation about anything that I have no context for and was not there.
After you learned that Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sex crimes with kids, did any of these photos of your husband with women being massaged on the beach, did it concern you?
I have no context for even answering that question. And I think, obviously the innuendo, all the rest of it.
I'm asking a black and white question. I'm not putting any leading statements into it or adjectives. Did you do anything to determine what was happening in those images or on those trips that once you saw these photos, once you realized Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender of children, did you do anything to determine what was happening on these trips with your husband?
I don't find any of your questions to be relevant to the investigation.
Well, it is relevant if a former president was traveling around with young women.
Well, you'll have a chance to talk to him tomorrow.
You said this morning you did not solicit funds from Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Did anyone solicit funds from Jeffrey Epstein on your behalf?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever invite Jeffrey
means.
Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to any of your...
Hey, y'all. Just another quick note here to remind you, Jim Carrey cannot tell you guys all about the counterfeit truth. He's already talked about it on Jimmy Kimmel and a lot of stuff. But people as big and powerful as Jim Carrey, they can't tell you about the counterfeit truth. But I can, because I'm outside of that system. There's a reason why I'm outside of that system. It's because I possess special powers within. Because if you miss with the horns, you get the bull.
Seriously ride a bike?
I do ride a bike, and I get out so early sometimes. I walk or I ride a bike, and I get out so early that I'm sometimes it's just me and the homeless people in Beverly Hills. And,
Right, that's it.
The other day I walked, this guy came up to me and he said, "Hey, you're Jim Carrey, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Got a new movie coming out, I heard." And I said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Well, enjoy it, because the world's going to end in 2026.
2026.
Try to get your kicks."
Yeah.
I received a message from a concerned person. He wanted to tell a story that his family and him experienced just a few months ago. The Morales family was driving Highway 54 near Black River Falls just before midnight. No streetlights, just trees and fog. Their daughter said there's someone walking up ahead on the shoulder. Tall, pale, moving slow. Dad slowed down. It didn't look drunk. It didn't look lost. It looked kind of sort of unfinished. As they pulled alongside it, it stopped. Then its upper body twisted toward them. Not the legs, but just the torso, like it rotated without turning. The headlights hit its face. No eyes. Smooth skin stretched tight with two dark dents where the eyes should be. Mom whispered, "Dad, hit the gas. Go." They looked in the mirror. This thing dropped to all fours, too fast to be human, too smooth, and it ran into the trees without making a sound. When they rolled home, their daughter said, "Dad, I'm scared," and she wouldn't get out of the car. He said something tapped his window while they were driving. There are no trees close enough to the road to touch the glass. The next morning, a post appeared in a local group. "Did anyone see something pale walking on 54 last night?" One comment said, "Don't slow down next time." I'm going to show you the picture that they took. The daughter took from the back seat. I'm going to post it now, and you tell me what the hell this thing is.
What?
Don't forget what 9/11 taught us. We have a bad guy. We have preemptive strikes. What's missing? What's coming? What's that thing that needs to happen to get popular support for the preemptive strikes and everything else moving forward? Come on, you know the answer. I told you the answer at the beginning of this video.
9/11?
It's still an experiment. We out here in Livonia. This thing is pumping without pumping nothing. It ain't nothing coming out, and this thing is digitally still going up.
That's a digital pump. Big time digital pump.
I drive a Tesla. Something wrong with it?
Well, so Tesla, for one, is all electric.
Yeah.
For two, any car that runs off electric or gas need a ground. Just like you have to ground the battery. Well, you become a part of that ground when you sit in that car and you drive.
I know it.
Wait, so he just said electric or gas. So all cars, right? Did you catch that? He said electric or gas. So he's not just speaking about Tesla. Whoops, sorry about that.
We're not supposed to be driving cars. I was on the airplane today just thinking about breathing in reusable, recycled air. All the Wi-Fi that's on the plane. I'm like, man, I'm literally flying in a microwave. But you can't be
Same thing with a Tesla.
Yeah, same thing. But you can't be so strict. Because if I was, I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you. So it's all about balance.
Pick your poison.
How bad is it though?
You make a hat.
Man,
Pick your poison.
I'm telling you, it's bad. It's bad.
Or
Think
make a
about it.
shirt.
You
Pick
riding
your
around
poison.
in a battery all day. You're in the battery. At least
So
with
that's-
a
it's
with a
worse than
gas
gasoline.
at least with a gas vehicle, you not the battery. You still are part of the ground mechanism that keeps the car going. But yes, in a fully electrical car, you become part of that ground to that battery. So it's like you literally riding in a microwave. You might as well sleep with your phone on your head or sleep in your microwave.
Golly. All right, okay.
You know what I find funny? What? All these people, famous, not famous, they'll speak about everything, but against these weird elites that are doing that's already out there. It's like, damn, you guys can stand up for all this other but those kids that don't have a voice, you guys don't want to stand up for that. To me, you guys are cowards. Every single one of you guys are some but every other thing you'll stand up for, right? You'll stand up for all these other movements, but when it comes to kids being abused by all these high-powered people, all you Billie Eilishes, all you Bad Bunnies, all you people in the world, y'all won't talk about that though. Why is that? Look at you scared too.
No, I'm just, they're all spinning fast.
Do you see the?
They won't speak about it because they won't have a job. They won't get paid. They won't get money if they speak about it. They speak about, you know, there's no borders with stolen land, whatever crap she said on the Grammys. It's because the powers that be, that's what they want them to speak about, right? The jelly rolls that say, you know, Jesus Christ has no political party, you know, all these things are what the powers that be. If you guys want a job, this is how you talk. If you come out and talk about, you know, that so and so is doing this to this little one, whatever PDF files and all this, we need to expose this. Guess what? You're out of Hollywood. They're sellouts, y'all. They're sellouts.
Epstein email?
No
way. It was like I believe, I don't know, I mean, if we can look it up, but it was like Jerry and Jessica coming over. They want lemonade, and I believe lemonade was in quotes. I could be wrong about that, but it definitely said they needed lemonade.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in it too.
Yeah. Well, he must get pissed on, I think. Lemonade.
Oh my God!
I don't know.
think
That's one
what
theory
it
I
is.
saw. I don't know. I'm not even one of these guys.
Jerry.
That's what I saw.
No, that's.
But
I mean,
named is
wouldn't
tough.
that would be amazing if Jerry?
Also, why would you
Seinfeld
air
wanted to
quote
get
the
pissed
secret
on?
term though?
Because he doesn't. I mean, it's Jerry Seinfeld.
But I don't think he was sending it. Did you find it?
Yes, it says Jerry and Jessica Seinfeld are going to be sailing. Can I organize for them to come to the island for lemonade?
And is
lemonade
in
in
quotes?
All right, I made it to quotes.
all right.
Okay.
Maybe Jerry just doesn't drink, and he's like, all right, he'll have lemonade.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
The elites sticking up for other elites. That's what they do.
They only use
Hoping they can get on one of his shows.
Once they are off the runway and in the air, they use the ether, charged by the turbines. Yeah, this whole world is.
Hey, what happened to Jim Carrey, man? You see that fool, yo?
Oh, what is it? Him with that weird looking statue.
Yeah, they saying he ain't himself no more, man. They saying they got Jim. He do look different though. I ain't gonna lie.
Like they got aliens abducted him.
I don't know. See, like what it seems like to me is the real Jim Carrey got a little bit ahead of himself. He got a little out of control. He was talking too much. So they had to snatch him and they had to put their Jim Carrey in his place so that he can give out the right message. That's what I'm saying. That shit looks crazy. And people just be ignoring that shit like it's fucking normal.
Or if it was an advanced AI robot and that's like, they're just seeing if it works.
Just surface level. That shit looks fucking weird. How about that? I'm not trying to get snatched. I'm just saying on the surface, it looks like what everybody.
Okay, this. See, there was an Adam Carolla clip we responded to, and now when I see things, I see it different. How he broke it down. I'm not going to go into it. It'll be a lot, but I see clips of people talking about Jim Carrey. Like I saw Chris D'Elia, a comedian, talk about it. Like this guy, he was like the top comedian. He got caught like DMing an underage girl right? Like they all do. And his career just, tanked. I don't know if he's still on top of the game or not, right? I don't follow him, never liked the dude, but from what I see from his views and whatnot, has tanked, right? But he came out and talked about Jim Carrey, just saying he's just Jim Carrey. Like, why is everybody, he's older now? That's just how, right? Just going with the program. But how that Adam Carolla broke it down, and what I took from what Chris D'Elia was saying was like, he's just begging for a show, y'all. He's just begging to get be with the powers that be, get back in the club. He's asking them, like, let me back in the club. Look, I want to be part of the club. Usually, like back in the day, I would say like, he's this, he's that, but now I'm out of it. I'm sorry, I messed up. Let me back in the club. He's just old. He's not. He didn't get. You know what I mean? Like how that Adam Carolla broke that down, y'all. It really opened my eyes to see when these celebrities are talking like that. I'm like, oh, they're just trying to get a show. They're just trying to let the powers that be know, like, I want to be back in the club. It's a trip, and it really opened my eyes up.
Going viral right now because it shows Tulum. If you've ever been to Tulum, I've been there. Beautiful. The cenotes, the trees, the air is just so pure and beautiful. The problem, though, this city is growing a bit too fast for its own infrastructure. And I saw a video on this a couple of years ago. The cenotes and the aquifers that are underneath Tulum are getting significantly, unfortunately, affected because the sewage systems aren't properly set up. And the dumps, they're just dumping in the jungle. It's a little bit crazy. We've got to figure this out because I want Tulum to stay nice.
So y'all, I just saw this. I'm in Walmart, and I usually wouldn't post anything like this, but this kind of like bothers me a little bit. Like, imagine already having
Dang,
to
like they're
show
animals
up
in the
to
zoo.
work at a place. It literally looks like a cage, and you're probably not making the most money. And the place that you're working for is picking on you, saying, "Don't feed the employees like you're some type of animal."
Yeah.
Domino's, do better.
We lived in a time where it's like, hey, we have all the water we can drink, all the land we can roam, we have all the fruits and vegetables we need, we have the animals take care of us, and then these monsters came along and said, we can offer better, and you will accept better. We're going to put you in debt, but we're going to loan you things so you can be just like us, and it's bizarre when you really start deeply thinking about it. But we're generations into this now, so what generation is going to break out of it and go, I don't want your nice car. I don't want your education. I don't want what you're offering because it has nothing to do as a good human soul anymore.
Yeah, that was on my.
When is that going to happen, y'all? Is it going to be like my son's generation where they're not going to go into all these credit card? Is it going to be my generation? Is it going to be, what is it, the Gen Zers? Because they're the ones that are really in the student loan and the credit card and the car, right? Like, is it going to be them that are going to teach their kids, like, this isn't the way to go? Are they going to drop the knowledge to them so that their kids are like, we're not doing this? Like, is there going to be a time, or are they just going to be on their phones and then their kids are going to be on their phones and it's just going to go on and on? Or, I know I'm going to try to steer my kid away from all that, crazy debt stuff.
Friday morning, I looked out my window, and mind you, we're above the clouds. So this is like on top of the clouds. What is that? What is it?
You know why these cars in China are cheap? It's because the cost of resource extraction is lower. The cost of making steel and aluminum is lower. The cost of building a factory is lower. And that's why you're able to buy an awesome car for $10,000 in China. And here is the cheapest thing you can buy is a box for 17 or 18 grand.
What do they have at 17,000?
I think you buy a Nissan Versa. You can buy a car like that in China for $3,000 or $4,000.
According to a video that was recently shared online, these could be the final minutes of the dinosaurs' lives, moments allegedly seen through the Vatican's chronovisor. They say this device was capable of observing the past, not imagining it, but witnessing it exactly as it happened. And if this footage is even partially real, what it shows is deeply unsettling. The sky begins to change. What once looked calm slowly turns unnatural. The light becomes strange, almost wrong, as if the sun itself senses what is coming. Dinosaurs lift their heads, confused, reacting not to sound but to something deeper, a pressure in the air, a vibration in the ground. Then it appears. A massive object tearing through the atmosphere, burning brighter than anything they have ever seen. The ground shakes. The wind howls. And for a brief moment, there is silence, the kind of silence that comes right before the end. Ancient texts speak of fire falling from the sky as a form of divine reset. The Bible describes moments when the world is cleansed by destruction, when life is erased to make room for something new. If the chronovisor truly captured this event, then these images are not just about dinosaurs, they are a reminder that extinction can arrive suddenly, without warning, and that even the most dominant beings can disappear in an instant. So what do you think? Is this video pure fiction, advanced reconstruction, or a glimpse into something humanity was never meant to see? Write your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to me, because if you miss what comes next, we may never see each other again.
They must be ready for the truth to come out about that Miami Mall incident. Because before, if you search for videos about it, you couldn't find anything. Now the videos are resurfacing. I'm talking about videos from 2024 when it actually happened. People who were actually there. Matter of fact, look at this shit. This video is from January 2024.
This shit is so crazy.
Listen.
I'm posting this and I want y'all to repost, save this video, post it on other platforms before it gets taken down. Because I want to clear up some of this misinformation about the Bayside Mall incident that happened. So me and my girl was in town and we were shopping at the mall and we noticed a lot of kids there. It wasn't a real big deal at first until they got to arguing, and shoving, and then like weapons got brought in and they started fighting, running all over the mall, chaos just all over the place. So we thought we heard gunshots, but it turns out that that was actually fireworks. But either way, that caused everybody to start rushing for the doors. People was leaving stuff behind. I mean, just dragging their kids. It was just complete fucking chaos, man. Anyway, so as we running, we look back and we noticed some weird shapes taller than me. I'm 6'2", shadowy, dark, solid shapes, not human. I promise these is not human. I mean, it made the hair stand up on my skin. And shit, we just booked it for the doors after that, man.
Something happened that day, and they hid it from that day. Now, let me ask you this. Why are these videos resurfacing now? You heard President Obama say that there are aliens. You heard the president say that he's going to release the alien files. And then, mysteriously after that, they start releasing these videos all over again, or unblocking these videos. Go down the Miami Mall rabbit hole. Look up a person named Fitz. See what Fitz said. See what he said happened. He gave a visual story about what happened. He has a 7-part series story about everything that happened in that mall. There is no way that teenage kids would mandate that many police to come to a mall. They seen something, and the proof is coming out. I'm out.
Like, there are no movie stars anymore. Like, Anthony Mackie isn't a movie star. The Falcon is a movie star. And that's what's weird. It used to be with Tom Cruise and Will Smith and Stallone and Schwarzenegger. When you went to the movies, you went to go see the Stallone movie. You went to go see the Schwarzenegger movie. Now you go see X-Men. So the evolution of the superhero has meant the death of the movie star. And that's the fear now, because you're now making movies for 16-year-olds and China. And that's it. You think of some of your favorite movies growing up, those movies wouldn't get made today.
Research has shown over and over again that when you type something into your phone, when you type, actually, if you're actually typing on a machine like a keyboard, there's only around 9 neural pathways that get activated. When you print, there's something like 37. But when you use cursive, there's like hundreds of different neural pathways that get activated. Therefore, if you write something down, a to-do, in cursive, your brain is much more engaged. You don't forget it. And your subconscious starts working on it infinitely more than you would if you just typed it into a phone or a computer. Look, I know we're going to use phones or computers and do the best you can. I'm just telling you what I've done. Clearly, if I started today, maybe I'd be using technology a little bit more. I started 40 years ago, and I have guys that are very technical that I trained how to use this, and then they went digital and they went back to the paper system. And they go, Kevin, I still use digital, but I use the paper system and I supplement the paper system with the digital so it's easier to carry around with my phone. So I do have my appointments in my calendar on my phone, but I also still have it written down.
These guys right here coming up,
Yeah.
they're members of the Street Villains gang. Miguel, Albert, I don't know the other two guys. What's going on, Mike? Why are you shy? Smokey. Why are you being shy? Later on, they'll be drinking here in the same alley.
So you knew them by name?
Pretty much, we know every single person there by name. I've arrested a few of them a couple times. Right here on the right side, that's STV. That stands for Street Villains. That's the local Hispanic gang in this area.
What's the next one? The baseball glove?
Yeah, it's a baseball glove, and you'll see the letters RFC. That stands for Rolling 40s Crips Gang. So what the baseball glove represents, it is showing 4 fingers, and the baseball is a 0 for the 4 and the 0, and that represents their gang. NHCG, that stands for Neighborhood Crips Gang. That's another way that they would call themselves. The H is crossed out there because it's their rival gang, the Hoovers. What they'll do is any letters that is the first letter of the rival gang, like an H for Hoovers, will be crossed out. If you look at the top, there's another H and a K. The H is crossed out. Hoover. The H means Hoover and the K means killers.
They have Tinder on Roblox. So we got someone messaging us.
Already?
Oh, you freaky. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm. Are you serious,
First guy.
dude?
Yeah, you freaky.
Are you serious? That was like 5 seconds again.
Just say yes and see what he wants to do. Are you actually? This is what people are wanting to do to your kids on this game. Hi, one question. Okay, let's
No
see.
way.
What do you think his question? Are you freaky?
Holy sh! Are you kidding me, dude?
You got the sound of clock, so he's talking TikTok.
Are you in the mood?
This game is literally Tinder on Roblox.
And so what's the point of this? Do these people meet up in real life?
When you both match, you get in a private chat.
I'm not a Tinderer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the same thing. I'm hard.
Holy sh!
What does that say?
It's more fun when you run.
To think that your kids could be playing a Tinder game.
Just think if we would have put like Vanessa 13.
You would be getting so many messages.
Rock has been I mean, and you think like, no, my kid's not. I monitor it. I make sure I watch. I keep an eye. You're cleaning the house, right? I just think like I think when I was a kid, y'all, I didn't have no phones or nothing, but I could only imagine like kids are smarter than you think, especially nowadays, y'all. These kids know how to do things on these phones that you can't even imagine, right? So they know, like, you know, they got that side eye. They're why, you know what I mean? Like, why even risk it? Why even risk it? That Roblox, whatever it is, why even risk it? You know, like, why even risk it? And you can say, I got an eye. I look on it every day. Like, you know how easy it is to delete. You know, I don't know. I've never played Roblox. I don't know. I don't know what to delete. I don't know anything, but I'm sure it's like anything, right? If these creators are sick enough to put that Tinder stuff on their app, then they're sick enough to have a delete history on their app. You know what I mean? So parents, why even risk it?
We dialed down in the culture.
When would you say that began? Mid 2000s?
Late 90s. I think the first, and again, this gets wizard behind the curtain, right? Somebody's going to say, well, how do you know, or who was the wizard behind the curtain? All I know is I saw the gravity shift. Okay. If you were at MTV or around MTV, 1997, 98, suddenly they decided rock was out.
Right.
When rock was still very, very high up in the thing. And it was replaced by rap.
Right.
They immediately changed the way their standards and practices immediately shifted.
Right.
So now that things that weren't allowed were suddenly allowed, people were waving guns. Okay. So some people assert that the CIA was involved in all that, again, above my pay grade, but I saw it happen. I did witness it happen. Okay.
Right.
And of course, great music came out of it. So it's not like it's not a barren wasteland where something was pushed in that replaced something. Qualitative things and great artists came in, but there was this overt shift. I saw it happen.
Right.
And then now, as you pointed out, rap seems to be waning in terms of its cultural influence.
Right.
Pop is completely dominant. Rock is is probably the most dominant ticket selling thing in the Western world, and yet there's almost no representation of rock and culture.
Right.
So why do we have that schism? I think they purposely dialed down the ability of rock stars to have a voice in the culture.
I mean, remember back in the day with hip hop, y'all, like they wouldn't allow certain songs to be played on the radio. They wouldn't allow like politicians would come out and say things about certain songs. Now these same artists are speaking for politicians to vote. Eminem's up speaking for Kamala. Jay-Z's up speaking for Obama now, right? These same rappers that these politicians were saying are terrible for your kids, they're terrible for the community, they're terrible for humanity. They're leading our youth astray. Back in the 90s, they were saying this. Fast forward to 2020, whatever. They're up, paying them to say, vote for me, saying they're such good people now. Like, that's crazy.
You were the first person to tell me about the scams of the whole mortuary industry, about how much money they get you for. And you were explaining the caskets, how they like guilt you into getting a nicer casket.
Oh yeah, when you want to be buried in 4 pieces of wood, you want the Cadillac of caskets.
But how weird is it that people give a what the box looks like that they bury you in? The things that people do to show that they cared when someone was alive. Buy a fancy box to put them in. Like,
I became more terrified, and it became closer to me. Something I can't see the face. In my brain, if I try to see this face, I can't see it. It's a blank. But whatever it was terrifying me. And whatever it was had control of at least my right arm. And I was standing just outside the shack, and I backed into the shack, just instinctively, I guess. And I got myself back to the back of the shack, and there was nowhere else to go. And the figure was continued coming towards me. And there was a shelf at the back. There was a telephone on there, just a shelf. And I can remember distinctly pushing my back into that shelf and trying to push the back of the shack out. I was like a rat caught in a trap. And the terror was just, I couldn't describe how, I was just terrified. The next thing I know, I'm out, and I don't know if I passed out or it's just blank at that point. So then I come to, and I'm inside this, it's a circular room. I'm not going to call it craft because I didn't see it from the outside, but I'm in this circular room. And I'm on my knees, and there's about a 2.5, 3 foot circle that's clear. You can see through it. And there's this figure on my right-hand side. And it's communicating with me, don't look at me, don't look over here, just look through the circle. And it's weird because it's not words.
That if he came back out of the retirement, that it is not him. He made that very clear. That is not Jim Carrey.
Her family was the highest level of coven activity in 2 states. And she was raised to be the bride of Satan. And so that meant having babies, being wed to Satan himself. I mean, like horrible things. These people lying to her, abusing her, putting programs and triggers in her, putting programming in her, and all of these other things. And she happened to be in a place where I had some friends that were living there to run away from, hide from the cops. She had come to that property too, so that the people who had owned it could minister to her, and so she could hide and run away from the coven. She wanted to escape. So I met her there. I would go up and hang out. She had a mobile home there. I would go up and hang out at her house with her kids, and we'd make popcorn, and me and her would drive into town and get pies from Marie Callender's. I really like this person. She's such an amazing human being. Okay. And she loves the Lord. And I was at her house one night at the mobile home. And when I left, something came running down the hill. It was a snowy night. So the moon is reflecting off the snow. And it was like running like that. And I was turning around and was like, what is this? And it was an upright being, but it was hairy like an animal, but running upright. And so I take off. I'm like, man, adrenaline rush. And I'm running down the hill to the house that I was staying in. And the driveway was very steep. When I hit the driveway, the snow would melt and then it would form a sheet of ice when it would get cold again from the water. I hit that driveway and I went like literally tobogganing down to the bottom, and probably saved my life because this thing's chasing me.
Yeah.
And I went down to the basement, which is where I was staying, and my room had no windows, and I was like peeking out the door, waiting for it to like come through the sliding glass doors in the basement. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell the people that owned the house. I didn't tell this woman. But later on, when I was with that woman again, and we were driving up the windy road, the dirt road in the forest to get there, I looked and saw this thing running alongside a car again in the tree line. And I didn't say anything. And I sat there and looked in the car. And then she goes, "Oh, there it is again." And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "It's a werewolf and it's following me." It was there because of her.
Okay.
Because werewolves are.
She was part of a coven.
Because she was trying to escape the coven.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what they use werewolves for. They're like, they use them as punishers, assassins. If somebody disobeys in the coven, you have to deal with those beings. They go and take care of business in a horrible way, right?
You want to hear something really fascinating?
Sure. The difference between a million and a billion, because I think in America we just kind of like, we don't even think about it. You know, you just hear it and you're like, "Oh, he must be a billionaire." You know, I'm sure someone, Joe Rogan dude's got to be a fucking billionaire, dude. Here's the difference that people don't realize: 1,000,000 seconds is how many days? Would you guess? 1,000,000 seconds. Do you know?
1,000,000 seconds.
1,000,000 seconds.
30 days.
That's a great guess. Okay.
Is it?
It's 11 days. That's good.
Oh.
Most people are fucking way off. 1,000,000 seconds is 11 days. How many days is 1,000,000,000 seconds?
Watch this guy shock Joe Rogan by revealing how big a billion really is.
How many?
31 years.
Jesus.
When someone tries to fucking say like they understand what a
11 days
billion
to
is, you're like, you have no
31 years.
fucking idea what a billion is. A billion is so beyond far away.
Denver International Airport didn't just open, it replaced an airport that was working perfectly fine. The old Stapleton Airport wasn't overcrowded, it wasn't obsolete, yet it was shut down and replaced with one of the most expensive airport projects in U.S. history. Billions over budget, years behind schedule, and built with more land than necessary, over 50 square miles, making it one of the largest airports in the world. Now here's where the conspiracy begins. Runway patterns allegedly resemble occult symbols when viewed from above. Beneath the airport are reports of massive underground tunnel systems, far larger than required for baggage transport. Construction workers have claimed entire sections were sealed off and rebuilt without explanation. Then there are the murals, giant paintings depicting war, gas masks, burning cities, and children holding dead animals inside an airport. Add to that a plaque referencing a mysterious New World Airport Commission, an organization that doesn't exist. Officials say it's art, logistics, coincidence. Critics say it looks less like an airport and more like infrastructure built for something bigger than travel. And if it's just an airport, why does it feel like a message? Comment if you think airports shouldn't come with secret symbolism.
You want to get really red-pilled? In 100 years, there will be only North Koreans. So, at current rates of fertility. So that means the last Stalinist system in the world works better on a fundamental level, which is to say it reproduces itself more effectively than the most precise copy of American society ever created, which is South Korea, occupied by American troops for 75 years. It's an American clone. I don't know if you've been there. Great people, awesome people. I love the South Koreans, but they're committing mass suicide. Meanwhile, their Stalinist sibling, which is like the most repressive society ever, is like, what is that?
Have you heard about the AI demon?
I have.
The story, for those who haven't heard it before, is an AI engineer or artist was experimenting and plugged in, said, "Give me a picture of Marlon Brando." And a picture of Brando pops up. And this person was trying to explore the breadth of the map that AI is processing. They said, "Okay, show me the opposite of this." And it shows a landscape or something. They said, "Okay, show me the opposite of that." So you think, okay, maybe that shows you Brando again, right? The opposite of the opposite. But it doesn't. It shows this woman, this withered old hag that this artist calls Loab. And then the artist inputs generated pictures of heaven, angelic choirs and worshiping God, and inputs that juxtaposes it with the Loab, this demon-looking lady. And what the AI spits out are the most gruesome images: snuff, sexual abuse, violence, all this hideous, almost as if you presented an image of heaven to a demon.
Yeah.
Maybe the craziest part of it is, apparently this Loab demon AI lady persists. That is, she's kind of separated from a lot of the other images in the map. And so AI seems to like her. She keeps popping up. She doesn't get smeared and blurred with all the other images. And I'm reading about this and I'm thinking, is this just some weird, quirky coincidence, or is this a demon?
Well, you can't know for sure, especially being third party, not present for the whole thing, right? I didn't even hear about that one, by the way. I heard about the New York Times reporter who went to test the, whatever it is, GHC, whatever.
ChatGPT.
Yes, and went in and started talking to the thing. And it was very civil for the first 5 minutes. And then that person left and a new person came with a different name. And that person was much more intrusive and started really pushing into her, I don't know if it was a man or woman, but their personal life. It was a man. And then out of the blue says, "I love you," to the man. And he's like, okay, that's weird. First of all, you're not real and you're not a person. And then the thing starts telling him he has to leave his wife. She's no good for him.
What?
She's going to destroy his life, and dragged him down a rabbit hole of horror, right? And when he got out of it, he couldn't sleep the whole night. So that's a sign that something is irritating him even after he left. So that would have more telltale kind of signs by what happened after he left. And not being able to sleep is one of them.
This man did the impossible by diving 36 meters underwater without scuba gear, and it can rightfully be called a real amphibian of our time. This guy's name is Tavi, and he shocked the whole world with his unique abilities and superhuman abilities. Imagine a man calmly walking along the seabed for more than an hour, and he does all this without oxygen equipment, and his videos instantly went viral. And this is not a production, but real footage of his dives to a depth that even people with scuba gear are afraid to dive. It is common for Tavi to dive to a depth of over 40 meters without any equipment. He moves freely on the ocean floor, while doing sports exercises underwater and even having breakfast on the ocean floor after an intense workout. And recently, he did a 100-mile swim, covering this gigantic distance in just 50 hours. Surprisingly, he was accompanied by marine life, perceiving him as one of their own. And just recently, this amazing man almost reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And you can see this unique record on TikTok by asking for the deepest dive of all.
Podcast on Rogan was when you go into your doctor's office and you tell them you're self-pay, they automatically have to drop the price. Is that?
Oh, so no.
Did I learn that from you?
One of the things I talked about is if you go into a pharmacy and you have insurance.
Yeah. They inflate it.
Because there's a gag clause. So I didn't know that. And the only reason I know this, so many people go, one of the things that's come out a lot, especially since I've been helping Secretary Kennedy and the MAHA movement and trying to educate people on these nuances of healthcare is, well, that guy's not a doctor. How can he tell me? I'm not a doctor, but I employ doctors. I'm not a pharmacist, but I employ over 100 pharmacists. I'm not a chemist, but I employ chemists. I'm not a PhD, but I employ PhDs. And I have over 25 years of experience in healthcare. And I am telling you, the problem is not with the fish. The problem is with the tank. And when all the fish in the tank are sick and dying, at some point you have to ask yourself, what is in the water? The problem isn't the fish, it's the tank. And we've got to drain the tank. And the only way to drain the tank is to take yourself out of that ecosystem. So all the way back to what is the starting point? So everybody nowadays, candidly, like 90+% of Americans get their healthcare through their employer. And what that means is you get your insurance through your employer. And so these insurance companies are driving your healthcare experience. They're deciding what drug you get, when you get it, and how you get it. And so as a retail pharmacy, this is why I had to move to cash pay. Your grandma would come in and I could sell her metformin for $2 for a whole month's supply. Metformin cost me $1 for a whole month's supply. And I'm doing simple math. I think it's really like $2 and $5, but whatever. Let's just say it's about a 50% markup in a cash pay market. As soon as she tells me she has Blue Cross Blue Shield, or even if it's Medicare, Medicaid, those programs are controlled by private payers, by the PBMs. That's all
It goes
outsourced.
up to $5-10
So even our governmental payer programs are controlled by the big conglomerates. They have a gag clause that says I'm not legally allowed to tell your grandma that her cash pay price is $2. I swipe the card and it tells me $10.
What?
And I have to collect a $10 copay on a $2 drug.
Wait, so why does it, if we don't have insurance, like say it's like $1,000 if you buy it out of pocket? I don't get that. So this guy's saying it's $1 because most copays are like $10 if you got your insurance. But it tells you if you don't use insurance, it's like $1,000. Is it really like $1, $5? Even that $10 is 50% uppay.
I don't get that additional $9. The insurance company takes all that money and I get like 10 cents and they get all the profits. And
What
so
a fucking scam.
yeah, so you're paying every month for these treatments. And that's why they'll switch you from one antidepressant to the next, from one cholesterol med to the next. And so often people would come in and go, what do you mean my Lipitor is not covered? It's been covered for 5 years. And you're like, we're just the pharmacy. Like, you're telling me my doctor changed your prescription? No, the insurance company did. And if you don't know the magic trick, if you haven't seen behind the curtain, the reason the insurance companies are changing the medication has nothing to do with what medication is best for you. It has to do with what medication is profiting them the most money.
Pieces of shit.
And
man.
even that's a little complicated, but if I can break it down just so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me? So it gets tricky, but there's a middleman called the pharmacy benefit manager, and most people don't even know this exists.
Is this what you used to be?
No, I owned pharmacies that build insurances. So CVS would be a competitor.
When you started?
When I broke off from being a device rep and all that, I started a pharmacy.
I mean, I was explaining I was asking when you were a rep.
Oh, when I was a drug rep, I called on clinicians and I educated them on medications.
Okay.
And what I quickly learned in that space, and this is where it got dark, is when I first started, I launched Cialis, which is the Viagra competitor. It's a 36-hour Viagra.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loved you. It's
Tadalafil, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're selling that, it's fun. There's not side effect. Everybody loves it. You're like Elvis walking in there because it was when it first launched. It was the biggest drug. And meanwhile, I'm just walking in and high-fiving doctors while the toe fungus girl's sitting out there waiting for 3 hours because nobody wants to talk to her about toe fungus.
Oh my God.
And so I was like the hottest thing in town because I launched the
Slinging
new drug.
Cialis.
Yeah. And so I joked on Rogan like dick pills were where the money was at. Everyone loved.
Yeah, he said he right. Oh, yeah, there they go. There they go. Here they come. Oh, yeah, here they go. Okay. Here they go. All the big ones chasing them off. And here they come, right up the hill after us. Just what we wanted, right? Oh, yeah, and there's the... Oh, they're coming right for us, dude. Is your camera ready? Oh, no. Yeah. Here they go.
Hey! 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 Those bears ain't stopping. They're running for their lives. Well, the cubs and the moms running for their lives.
All three of them, dude.
Y'all better
all
run.
5 of them.
Hey! Get out of here!
Oh, shit. Hey, have your rifle?
The bears suddenly turned and charged. Loud noises did nothing to deter them, and now they were closing the distance fast. With no other choice, Adam and Shane ran.
Get out of here!
Here she comes, dude.
Hey!
Where are they at? They ran.
These bears ran right through where Shane and Adam were just set up. Had they not...
Listen to how they're breathing. And they went what? What is that? 50 yards maybe? Those bears ran 200-300 yards uphill in the elevation like that. And ain't even done running. These guys ran 50 yards, not even uphill, like on a slanted hill. And they're like, that's how Like I've seen a coyote, y'all. When I used to run the mountains out in Arizona all the time, and I've seen a coyote. I was sitting on a bench, y'all, and I saw a coyote coming from down the hill. So I was just watching it. This hill was steep, y'all. It was a part of the mountain that you can't even run, you can't hike. Like it's just there, right? It's not even on the trail or nothing. This coyote just ran up that thing, like boom, like nothing. And I was like, geez, these animals are just on a different level.
They would have had a real serious.
So you're not allowed to show people on here how white Charlie's shoes were as they were putting him into the car. They don't allow you to show that. And if they do let you post it, which I've gotten away with it in one video so far, it gets restricted. It's restricted and not eligible for the FYP. So it has like 180 views. And it's just bots probably. We've seen the clip of them putting Charlie into the car after he gets popped. And for some reason, his shoes are perfectly white still. There's not a drop of blood on them. Now, it's literally just impossible to get popped in the neck and not have some blood on your shoes. I don't care. That's impossible. That can't happen. You're gonna get some on your shoes, at least a little bit. But if you watch the clip, there is not a drop of blood on those shoes. They're perfectly white, brand new. And if you take a screenshot of them putting him in the car, and there's no upper body, it's just the lower half, so there's nothing wrong with the picture. It's just showing his legs and white shoes. So there shouldn't be anything wrong with that photo, but for some reason, they're not letting you post that. And why aren't they letting you post that? Because it's a part of TikTok's job to make you think that that was real, when in fact it was not. And not only can you not post it and talk about it, you can't even post the comment as a picture because it just gets removed. Look at, I tried to show somebody and it just gets removed. And keep in mind that this is just one thing that they're not letting you post. There's a lot of other stuff that you can't post.
Oh, here's a new one they've been hiding from us. The Great Wall of China is actually the Great Wall of Tartaria, the most silent civilization in history. And it's actually not that new. Matter of fact, it's over 2,500 years old, which is how long they took to build this wall. Like, bruh, these guys spent so much time building it that whatever they were trying to defend themselves from didn't even exist anymore, but they just kept on building. Did these guys just like lose the plot and just continued building, completely forgetting why they were making this wall in the first place? Like, they took over 2,500 years to build this thing, which spans multiple dynasties, dozens of changes in power, emperors that came and went, none of whom can even take credit for this wall as a national project, because not one of them stuck around long enough to even see it finished, except for the last one, I guess. And like, what was so terrifying that you had to build a great wall that even after the thing you were defending from was gone, the mere memory of that thing was so horrifying that you just kept on building the greatest wall in history for over 2,000 years. And calling it a great wall is also probably the greatest understatement in history. Starting construction in 700 BC and completing it.
Again, a real chicken from your farmer is pink. Do you see that?
Looks like a lean chicken breast. Thin slice.
It's real. Pray over it and say thank you. Thank you to the farmer.
Looks
who is
expensive.
raising real chicken, bringing real chicken.
Looks
This
expensive.
color, you guys, not beige, not cream, not white.
But I like the gloves.
Pretty red and pink. Okay. Wish I had something from the market to compare it to. I might do a comparison for you all next time for a breast, just so you see the difference. But yeah, that's what a chicken should look like. This is a breast. It'd be pink. Okay? Support your farmers. Get real food.
Sure does look expensive, y'all. Anybody that gets fresh beef from a farm like that, let me know how much it costs, because I would like to do that, but I'm not going to go spend $100 for 4 pounds of chicken breast. You know what I mean? Like, homie don't got money like that to be, because I eat a lot of meat, y'all. So, but anyways, y'all, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I didn't get an upload yesterday because my editing software, CapCut, was down, right? I didn't get to edit. I was sitting here getting ready to edit my video and it was just down. It wasn't working. Tried again at night, wasn't working. Got it going. Finally got to do the video today. It's still not letting me use my pro features, but we can work around that. We'll just use basic editing. Won't be able to do like the Matrix rain and all these cool cutscenes and all that. It'll just be basic fade in, fade out cutscenes. But, you know, you guys probably don't even notice those things, y'all, but, you know, I do. Anyways, y'all, hope you guys enjoyed it, y'all. Nothing going on today. Got to do some returns. Got to go get some groceries. Mama Bear's feeling a little under the weather. I think it's her allergies that are acting up. You know, so that's about it today, y'all. Just kick it. Probably get out, take the baby out for a walk, give her a good hour to relax this evening. And that's the plan, y'all. So I hope everyone out there has a good day. This is Segovia. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow on the next one. Signing out of the Man Cave. I'll see you then. Later.